All right, so Ian the Colonel here from across the board with MC Lars and Weerd Science. Guys, we saw you perform a little bit earlier. Incredible show, so much energy. You're both just soaked right now, like you said, like you just jumped in a pool. So, a lot of energy. Really appreciate that. And you guys, it's just completely fresh. It's something new. Coming from your different backgrounds, I mean, studying, abroad in England and going to Stanford, became a rapper. Seems weird, playing in Coheed, that kind of stuff. How did you guys get to where you are now?
I always wanted to do this, and I feel like my path brought me here. I feel like things happen for a reason. I always was very into, doing things myself, DIY, promoting myself, like learning how to do it. I've been touring 8 years now, and it's just, it just happened. Life happens in weird ways, and I met this guy a few months ago, yeah. and we became touring mates, and we went to the UK, and this is our first US tour together, and it's just cool. I feel like things work out for a reason.
Yeah, like Lars said, things tend to kind of, the way they work out, it feels like they happen for a reason, and I guess it is weird. We've come from like a rock band background, but hip-hop was something that lived inside of us, and for me, from the first time I wrote a rap when I was, 8 years old or something, it's always been a thing that was creatively not just relevant, but vital, and it's something I just can't deny that lives in me, and I love hip-hop music.
And you guys really seem to be about the fans, too, which is nice. So releasing free singles, and that kind of stuff. And Lars, I know you did that, and Lars Attacks is coming out. What does that mean to you? What do the fans mean to you? I mean, a lot of bands just kind of do their thing and, whatever, but you guys are clearly big on the fans.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about punk rock is there's really no boundary between the stage and the audience. And hip-hop, too, because it's really collaborative, and, like, anyone can get up there and do it. And so it's like you have to respect that these people pay money and spend time caring about you, because there's so much stuff going on. And as soon as you don't care, you won't have a career. Or like if you go the label route, if you don't have the hit single, then you're forgotten about. People only care about the song. So, each and every person who comes to see us, anyone who buys Sick Kids, anyone who downloads my mixtape, like, I'm thankful for them, because they could. The alternative is they couldn't care. So I try to connect with everyone, and like I try to write everyone back, be friends with everyone. I have fans do remixes. You know what I mean? It's just like, and I like try to promote them and help give feedback on demos. Because as soon as you don't care, you have to get a day job.
Yeah, the fans definitely notice that.
Yeah, just what Lars said. I couldn't agree more. And it feels good to know that your art has touched somebody. That's a good feeling, and not in a salesman type way. Just to know that something that came from deep within you and that somebody else could relate to is a good feeling. So I want to hang out with people that feel my music. They might make some music that I would feel, and I'd love to hear it. So we're always listening to CDs that we get from bands and stuff, and I think that's important.
You guys have a good chemistry on stage together. Even though you're two separate artists, you have great chemistry together. Watching you on stage was a lot of energy, and it seems kind of just natural for you guys to be doing what you do. What time did you feel like, hey, this is something that really I need to really push this because this feels natural to me?
Well, as far as both of me, Weerd Science and MC Lars working together, we had done a Europe tour right before Warped Tour, and we had met a month before that. I think it's our love of hip-hop, and our love of music in general, that kind of translates to the crowd. We're having fun up there. Oh, I hope that translates. That's the goal, Well, that feels great to hear, man. I mean, that makes me really happy. Today was, particularly like a really fun show, and I just think that as we, continue to kind of grow and evolve, it gets, we learn each other more and more. Doing the European tour where we did 21 shows in 22 days before this was a great warm-up. It was a lot of fun, man, and Warped Tour is no better. I mean, we're on a 13 show in a row run right now. We're kind of in the home stretch. We're in the finishing. We're rounding third, boys. Maybe a couple steps from third, but I feel like it gets better every day, honestly. And I think this is part of us gelling, and that really makes my day to hear you say that, though, because that's the goal. I mean, I think it just comes from having fun up there and believing in what each other does, and I'm glad to hear that translates.
Yeah, it absolutely does. I mean, and the entire crowd was having a great time, and you played to us, and I was taking photos, and you played to that, and that's all really, really appreciated. What are you guys listening to right now in hip hop? In your own genre and outside?
Well, for me, I can't wait to hear the Kanye Jay-Z record. I wish they called it the Super Word Up Posse, like really kept it old school. But I'm excited about that record. I keep reading that it's going to be kind of like back to basics New York hip hop. And I'm a fan of both Jay-Z and Kanye, so I'm really excited to hear that record. As far as like what I'm listening to right now, you know, I'm all over the map, man. For some reason, I'm all about Thrice lately. I know that's not hip-hop, but that record, Vishnu, I just keep listening to that record. But as far as strictly hip-hop, I don't know. I just checked out the new Beastie Boys record, the newest one. Haven't really dove in all the way, but I'm liking what I'm hearing so far. It's definitely kind of like, almost like a return to form. And I was always a big... When me and Lars do our show together, I try to think Beastie Boys. I'd like to go even more Beastie Boys because that was a huge, Check Your Head changed my life, man. I mean, that was a huge record for me, and that was kind of a late bloomer for the Beastie Boys. I had my older punk rock, my older brother's friends, all the punk rock kids were into like the stuff before that, you know. But yeah, their new record, just I don't know, man. I listen to so much different stuff. It's just like so all over the map, so it's hard to pin it down.
And Lars, what are you listening to in hip hop and outside of hip hop?
Hip hop, you know, my friend K-Flay just put out a good mixtape. It's called I Stopped Caring in '96. She's a really good rapper, producer. Non-hip hop, my favorite album is Miles Davis, Kinda Blue, and I've been listening to that a lot on tour. It calms me down. Warped Tour can be really stressful because we're up super early, we're all day working, we don't stop, we stop till everything's loaded up, and then everyone like parties all night, so you gotta like unwind. So that album, like I kind of memorized every note, and it's kind of like a meditative album for me. Great record.
And that's exactly what I was going to ask was, you know, it is hectic. You talked about how busy it is on the road and doing these tours, but what do you do when you're on these tours to keep yourself grounded and sane, to just chill out? And that's a great example of that.
You know, yeah, and I'm pretty sober guy. You know, I don't really party a lot, and I have to find other ways to relax. You know what I mean? And meditation. You know, hip-hop for me is a very spiritual thing. KRS-One wrote a book called The Gospel of Hip-Hop, and it's about how hip-hop is really a divine blessing, and that's where I find God, and that's where I find my peace. And so I have to tap into that and like take time to do breathing exercises. Otherwise, I go crazy and quit.
Crazy dude, right? Lars loves that book. He sent me a copy for Christmas.
Have you read it yet?
No, I read maybe the first like 30 pages of it.
I mean, that
just for the record, though, it's because I read a lot, and as I'm reading it, I know I can't wait to read that book. I had a whole stack of books I was bringing on Warped Tour, and they're literally still sitting on my shelf at home. I just forgot them. But I'm a big reader guy. I love to read.
What are you into reading-wise?
You know, I guess, again, with the late bloomer, I just read On the Road, which I know it's a classic, you know. But for me, a guy that never went to college, like, what do I know about a classic? I thought it was boring at times. I really like Killing Yourself to Live. I don't know if you guys heard of that book. Chuck Klosterman.
Oh, yeah. Fight Club and Choke and all that.
Wait, no, Chuck Klosterman.
Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, I'm thinking of Chuck Palahniuk. Yeah, Chuck Klosterman. I have 4 by him. I know. With you.
Yeah, he's just hilarious, and it's a lot of stuff like, you know, takes on the music business and stuff. Really funny, clever. But the KRS book, I kind of am saving to read. I'm really excited to read it, and you know, I've learned so much from Lars. I just know I'm going to love the book. And just opening up and flipping it through, I made it like 30 pages in. I didn't want to get distracted. I know it's an important thing, so I'm looking forward to digesting it, let it kind of, you know, spread out all over me and whatnot, because I know it's changed a lot.
Like herpes?
Yeah, just like herpes, actually. But yeah, no, I think it's, you know, as far as like reading, unwinding on Warped Tour is of the utmost importance. And if you can't find something, you're going to make yourself crazy.
What is hip hop to you guys? What do you think it is? I know, Lars, you touched on that a little bit, but you know, being you guys are in hip hop, you're white, so obviously a minority in hip hop, and you know, you seem like chill guys, and you've gone to school, you know, college and all that stuff, so you're not typical for the hip hop genre. So
go to college.
Okay, weird. So you're a little bit more like it. But what is hip hop?
Streets in New York, so I definitely am fit right in the hip hop world. We mentioned we're white. You know, I have a black brother. I don't know if that had anything to do with my hip-hop, my love for hip-hop, but...
you got your hat backwards. That helps.
Yeah, it helps, you know. But then the glasses throw everything back to the nerd, you know. I don't know. Hip-hop spoke to me at a young age, man. I don't know what it was. It's one of those kind of mystical... The universe threw it at me, and... Also, I'm a big rock and roll guy. I mean, I'm on another band that plays on this whole tour called Terrible Things. You know, I played drums in a band called Coheed and Cambria for almost 10 years, and... I don't know. Hip-hop taught me more about music, more about rock and roll than rock and roll did. oddly enough. Taught me a lot about drumming and about grooving, but lyrically there was a way I could say things in hip-hop where you could really just get down to, like, the nitty-gritty and say, you, you know, and, like, maybe that's really what was in your heart at that point. It was just some unadulterated, pure anger. There's something that spoke to me about that. I don't, you know, it's hard to put my finger on, but it's something beautiful about that.
Hip-hop to me is poetry, you know, and like studying literature and stuff, you realize that the meter of the old school poets kind of, it's the same thing as hip-hop, the 4/4 beats, the rhythm, you know what I mean, iambic tetrameter. Like, for me, I got into hip-hop because it was political at first and it had something to say, and then when I got into dudes like the Atmosphere Crew and stuff like that, when I was like 19, 20, helped me realize that you could, Sage Francis, you could really be in touch with your emotions, like Josh was saying. And like, the thing about hip-hop is that it's simple. It's postmodern in that it's a breakdown of the culture into like the simplicity of the beat and the lyrics and like the sampling other stuff, referencing other stuff, like the constant oral culture, you know what I mean? Hip-hop to me just has so many, it's like the best of everything in one genre. And so for me, it really saved me. It helped me figure out who I am. It helped me become a man. Helped me realize how to about the aspects of karma, hard work, you know, friendship, love, like all this stuff that it really taught me and that I want to help spread now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's incredible. That's the most deep I've ever heard explained, man. But that's a whole, you know, a different way. I like that. So kind of yin and yang there. If you guys had 5 to 10 minutes left to live.
Wait, mine was the yang? Because hip-hop...
I think you're a little yang, weren't you? I don't know.
Wait, I don't know. Hip-hop saved my life and, you know, almost died, and literally hip-hop has saved my life. Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. So then... They're both So they're both deep then for different reasons. What was it about hip hop that saved you then?
I think, you know, the power of music. You know, I don't know. It's just, to me, hip hop was a way to express myself that I just couldn't in other forms of music. I mean, I've been on platinum records many times over. And it just wasn't it wasn't getting out what I needed to get out, and only in hip-hop could I find a way to kind of expel the darkness and the demons that haunted me, honestly. And I love hip-hop with a passion that is unsurpassed. And, you know, I live and die for hip-hop music. Not to sound corny, but I really do, honestly.
Yeah, the yin and yang thing was just the way you explained it all. That's all I meant by that. But so...
come off as a jerk, because... it's so important to me, and today's show was so fun. Like, today was a deep show, man. I just, you know, and I love you guys, and I can't believe I get to be here and do this. It's a real moment for me, and it's really special. And I feel almost corny saying that, but
it's not corny. It's what do you feel?
The most fun I think I've ever had on stage today. Wow. Wasn't the most people watching us. You know, some of these shows have been incredible, over 1,000 people watching us, but just another one of those moments, and those seem to keep just stacking up. Hanging out with this guy over here.
So if you had 5 to 10 minutes left to live in your life, not to get morbid, but you know you're wrapping it up, what would be the last song that you want to hear or perform?
Oh my God. Right now, this could probably be different. If you asked me this like throughout the day, every hour, it'd probably be different. Song I'd want to hear, Kashmir, Led Zeppelin. Song I'd want to perform, and Keeping Secrets of Silent Earth 3 by Coheed and Cambria.
Really? Nice, good call. And Lars?
I'd want to hear So What by Miles Davis. Probably I'd want to perform my song, Mr. Raven. It's a song about death, but it's a song about not being scared about death, you know?
Good. Now, you guys obviously got a lot of marketing into you, and you know, how can people keep up with you? Twitter, Facebook, Google Plus, maybe?
And what's next?
Yeah, so WeerdScience.net, MCLars.com, those are the portals for everything. Twitter slash Weerd_Science and MC_Lars. And yeah, we got a lot going on. We're going to Russia for New Year's Eve. I've got a club tour. This guy's going to China to play a festival with Ludacris. It's going to be huge. Who else is playing on it?
30 Seconds to Mars. For some reason, those are the only two bands I always remember. But it's a big festival called the Black Rabbits Festival in Shanghai and Beijing. And apparently China's crazy because they're going to bring Weerd Science over there, so I'm really excited. And then I go to Australia with my other band, Terrible Things. Lars is doing like a 2-month run in the U.S. with MC Chris, so nothing's going to stop. It's just a lot to... Yeah. And we were just over in Europe with, or over in the UK with MC Chris, so they've been friends for a long time, Chris and Lars, and that tour is going to be awesome. So just a lot, you know. It's hard to kind of. We're still piecing together the future. I mean, obviously that's a huge undertaking. For me, China and Australia is a little bit shorter, but just we're going to keep doing a lot. We're going to do a record together, and just like Lars said, those are the portals: mclars.com, weirdscience.net, and just a lot. We're going to be doing a lot. If that makes any sense.
Well, thanks, guys.